Deuteronomy 33. The good news is that there's no more songs. The bad news is Moses is still trying to prolong his death. This time he's giving us his blessings. But given the way this book has been going, you know this is going to be a short chapter. No one spends any time giving good news. I'm just kidding. It goes on far longer than it needs to. This is the blessing that Moses, the man of God, pronounced on the Israelites before his death. He said, "The Lord came from Sinai and dawned over them from Seir. He shone forth from Mount Paran. He came with myriads of holy ones from the south, from his mountain slopes. Surely it is you who love the people. All the holy ones are in your hand. At your feet they all bow down, and from you receive instruction, the law that Moses gave us, the possession of the assembly of Jacob. He was king over Jeshurun when the leaders of the people assembled, along with the tribes of Israel. Let Reuben live and not die, nor his people be few." Moses just referred to himself in the third person, which is weird. And he's blessing the tribe of Reuben, even though we were already told by God that the Israelites will disobey and suffer. So all of this is just a giant lie. And we're only at the beginning. You may remember that just before Jacob died, he also gave a blessing to the 12 tribes. It was also extremely boring. There's a lot of copying and pasting going on here. And this he said about Judah. "Hear, Lord, the cry of Judah. Bring him to his people. With his own hands he defends his cause. Oh, be his help against his foes." About Levi he said, "Your Thummim and Urim belong to your faithful servant. You tested him at Massah. You contended with him at the waters of Meribah. He said of his father and mother, 'I have no regard for them.' He did not recognize his brothers or acknowledge his own children, but he watched over your word and guarded your covenant. He teaches your precepts to Jacob and your law to Israel. He offers incense before you and whole burnt offerings on your altar. Bless all his skills, Lord, and be pleased with the work of his hands. Strike down those who rise against him, his foes, till they rise no more." Thummim and Urim are magic stones. Joseph Smith supposedly used them to translate the Book of Mormon, but they're making a special appearance here for some reason. Maybe you're wondering what the tribe of Levi did at Massah and Meribah. How did God test them? We have no idea. That is a reference that has no citation. In Exodus 17, that was the area where Moses was told to strike the rock so water would come out of it for the people to drink. But there's no mention of any role for the Levites. And why are we rewarding a guy who dismissed his parents and didn't acknowledge his siblings or children? Someone needs to focus on his family instead of giving everything up to be part of a religious group. Anyway, I'd remember the Levites. In Exodus 32, Moses saw people having an orgy around the golden calf that Aaron built, and Moses asked for volunteers to murder everyone they knew in response. And the Levites volunteered and killed off 3,000 of their family members and friends and neighbors. Those are the people being rewarded now. About Benjamin, he said, "Let the beloved of the Lord rest secure in him, for he shields him all day long, and the one the Lord loves rests between his shoulders." About Joseph, he said, "May the Lord bless his land with the precious dew from heaven above and with the deep waters that lie below. With the best the sun brings forth, and the finest the moon can yield, with the choicest gifts of the ancient mountains and the fruitfulness of the everlasting hills, with the best gifts of the earth and its fullness and the favor of him who dwelt in the burning bush. Let all these rest on the head of Joseph, on the brow of the prince among his brothers. In majesty, he is like a firstborn bull. His horns are the horns of a wild ox. With them he will gore the nations, even those at the ends of the earth. Such are the 10,000s of Ephraim. Such are the thousands of Manasseh." I feel like Benjamin just got shafted. Hey God, this guy's all right. Anyway, on to Joseph, someone I actually care about. And how do we know God cares about Joseph? Because Joseph is described as a bull who will kill people with his horns. That is a compliment, I am told. In some translations, they don't use wild ox. They use unicorn. Whoops. About Zebulun, he said, "Rejoice, Zebulun, in your going out, and you, Issachar, in your tents. They will summon peoples to the mountain, and there offer the sacrifices of the righteous. They will feast on the abundance of the seas, on the treasures hidden in the sand." About Gad, he said, "Blessed is he who enlarges Gad's domain. Gad lives there like a lion, tearing at arm or head. He chose the best land for himself. The leader's portion was kept for him. When the heads of the people assembled, he carried out the Lord's righteous will and his judgments concerning Israel." Zebulun and Issachar didn't even get their own sections. That's how little God likes the children of Leah. As for Gad, Moses is rewarding selfishness and the seizing of land. You know, the values Christianity is all about. Alright, let's wrap these up. About Dan, he said, "Dan is a lion's cub springing out of Bashan." Nope, sorry, we'll pause. This guy gets a compliment, but nothing else. Sorry, tribe of Dan, you got screwed. About Naphtali, he said, "Naphtali is abounding with the favor of the Lord and is full of his blessing. He will inherit southward to the lake." About Asher, he said, "Most blessed of sons is Asher. Let him be favored by his brothers, and let him bathe his feet in oil. The bolts of your gates will be iron and bronze, and your strength will equal your days. There is no one like the God of Jeshurun, who rides across the heavens to help you, and on the clouds in his majesty. The eternal God is your refuge, and underneath are the everlasting arms. He will drive out your enemies before you, saying, 'Destroy them.' So Israel will live in safety. Jacob will dwell secure in a land of grain and new wine, where the heavens drop dew. Blessed are you, Israel. Who is like you, a people saved by the Lord? He is your shield and helper and your glorious sword. Your enemies will cower before you, and you will tread on their heights." Asher gets to bathe his feet in oil because his land has a lot of olives. I guess olive oil on your feet is supposed to be a treat, but just like eating quail, I don't understand it. Anyway, congratulations, tribes of Israel. God chose you, and that means everyone else will suffer. And also, you will all suffer the moment you disobey God. But for now, you get the destroyer on your side. And Moses' final words are ones for the ages. Your enemies will cower before you, and you'll basically walk all over them. Kick them while they're down. Make them beg for mercy. It's how bullies speak. And apparently 120-year-old alpha males. Okay, we're done with the blessings. I learned absolutely nothing. God likes some people, hates others, will reward his friends and destroy his enemies, yada yada yada. It's all very repetitive. But Moses has now gotten to do what Jacob did earlier, regarding the blessing of the tribes. And it's the Bible's way of saying Moses is important, and now we're done with him. They could have said all that earlier, of course, but then we'd have nothing to talk about.